What is going on YouTube? Welcome. Today I'm going to be talking about setting up JMRI or DecoderPro with the Digitrax PR4 in particular. I've seen quite a few videos out there on how to program everything, but I found as I was buying the stuff, I didn't actually know what exactly I was going to need to go from beginning of having nothing to actually getting set up and ready to program. So this video is hopefully going to cover that. So you can do this with a couple of different Digitrax or other DCC systems. I don't have any of that with me right now. I don't have my layout or anything. This is basically all that I've got. But I figured I at least wanted to be able to do some stuff and program things. And this is going to be the most basic, easiest way to get started, and you really don't need a whole lot. So the first thing I've got here is the Digitrax PR4. You can see here, PR4. This is the rail interface that will connect your track, if you have a programming track, or in my case, I just have some Atlas Code 83 rail, to the PR4 and then to a desktop computer or a laptop. It works on both Mac and PC. I'll be demonstrating the Windows PC version today. Depending on how this video and everything turns out, maybe I'll show it on Mac as well. But let's start off. What you get with the PR4, you get this module here, which talks to the computer and talks to the track. You get this, I forget the product number for what the power pack is, but this little thing, which plugs into the wall to give power, because even though you're connected through USB, it doesn't have enough power to actually power the locomotives and do the programming. This hole here, that's where the power connector goes. It goes right in there. And then your track connectors are going to go in here. And I'm going to show some pictures of that, because the first time I connected it, it was actually kind of not totally clear how it worked. I'm pretty dumb, so it might just be my fault. But my goal with this is to create a video where hopefully there are virtually zero questions left with getting set up. Some of this USB cable, this goes into your computer. It's just a USB 2 probably. And that plugs into the back on this far right port. Looks just like a printer. You've also got these LocoNet panels. We're not going to worry about those today, which I think is either a phone or an Ethernet cable style thing. The instructions here, and then you do need to connect it to the track. It doesn't come with anything to connect to the track unless you use those LocoNet panels. So for 11 bucks, I got 4 pieces of Atlas track and some Code 83 power terminals that connect to the rail joints. So I'll show all this connected up, I guess right now. To open these track leads, you got to unscrew the little tabs on top to loosen it up. I still don't fully understand what's happening. I think it clamps the wires down inside, but if you look inside where the wires go, you really don't see anything. So I don't know how that works. It's not like the back of the Digitrax Zephyr, but you're gonna plug them in right in there. Let me see if I can get a better shot for you. There you go. And then we'll just tighten that screw down. Give it a little tug. It's secure. We'll do the same thing with the other one. It doesn't matter which one is which. Now that these wires are installed, they'll go directly to your programming track, which I've got right here. Again, it doesn't matter which side you go on, just slide them right on there. I apologize a little bit for the quality of this video. Obviously, I don't have a tripod or anything fancy set up. I've actually gone back and looked at some of my older videos, and they weren't always great. I fully recognize that. But I don't have a layout right now. I don't have a whole lot I can do. So pretty much the only type of playing with trains and having fun I get to do is with these little projects and making some videos. So if you don't like it, cool. Throw me a downvote, do whatever. Feedback's good. But I'm doing what I can. So appreciate those of you who appreciate that. Okay. We are all connected here. So we'll start from the outside. We've got our programming track, got our rail joiners going to the wire section, one on each side, doesn't matter which. Power is connected. You could actually probably do this after we do the software install, which I'm going to show next, and then the USB connected in the back. Power obviously goes to the wall, and USB goes to the top of the computer, or whatever USB port you got. With that, there's a couple software we need to get, and let's see, I'll probably do a screen recording for that one, so I'll see you in a sec.
All right, let's talk about the software we're going to need to get. Actually, first, I'm going to show you. This is my recording program. This is free. It's called OBS. I'm just recording on this. No email required, no subscription, nothing crazy like that. It's actually kind of nice. So far, I recommend it. First, what we need is Java. So I'm going to go to the internet, look for Java download. Now, the first one that comes up, which is the one I usually like to click, shows version 8, which I don't know. I guess you could click that and find out. But we don't want Java 8. We need, I think, Java at least 11. But I've been doing it with Java 17. So you can search Java 17, click here. Now we're on Windows, so we're going to want to come down and find Windows. And I'd like the installer version. So we've got this here. You can just click to download. Now that's got Java, and the other thing we're going to need is the DecoderPro software. So you can type that in, go to DecoderPro. They've got a bunch of links here on the side. Applications, DecoderPro. Let's see, install JMRI. I'm sure there's a quicker way to get to it. Basically, we want to download the program. Download page, here we go. You can also go to https://www.jmri.org/download/index, or just keep clicking around until you finally find it. Anyway, we've got JMRI 5.10, 5.10. We want Windows, so here's our Windows download link. We'll download that. It goes pretty quick. I guess depends on your internet. Close that. Downloads. Start with Java. We need that one first. Yes, install. Reinstall. Oh, right. I already had Java installed since I did this before. But you would just hit yes and keep going through the installation instructions and everything. I'll show you what it looks like. Here we go. Let's install it. You can skip ahead if you know how to install Java. Okay, Java is installed. Next is JMRI. So we'll double click the JMRI installer. Oh no, protect your PC. It doesn't know who the publisher is. That's okay. We went to the download link and downloaded it ourselves. Run anyway. Yes, run next. Install whatever it is that you want. I just put everything on my normal hard drive. Can install for anyone or just for you. If you got kids that use your desktop, you might not want them fiddling around with your software settings, so you can install it for just you. But I just do anyone on the computer. Next, install, next, install. And it's checking Java. See that? Checking default Java first. You gotta make sure you have the right Java. Details. There it goes. Look at all that stuff it's installing. Extracting. This is all good. Completed. You can hit next, finish. Now you're done with that. You'll have these two new icons on your desktop, DecoderPro and PanelPro. And I guess we'll get started with DecoderPro here in a second. All right, now we're good to go and start opening up our JMRI interface for the first time. Now, unfortunately, I'm going to open this and it's not going to show you the same pop-up that usually comes up the very first time you open it. There'll be a window here that will ask you how you want to configure it. And I'm pretty sure it's very similar to the preferences window here in connections in JMRI. So hopefully this is enough. I might try to figure out a correction for this before I upload. But if not, you've got system manufacturer, Digitrax, system connection, looking at PR4, that's what we're using. Serial port for me, it was COM3. You can check this by going to Device Manager and go to Ports, Common LPT, and this is plugged in to COM3. And I think it's supposed to say Digitrax somewhere. There might be driver software somewhere that you can install. I haven't found it necessary to this point, but I know there is a Digitrax driver software out there for uploading and downloading different sounds, I guess, to the Digitrax decoders. But check the COM. This is COM3, and we've got COM3 selected in JMRI. PR4, connection prefix, connection, LocoNet. Defaults, I'm not going to change anything in here. Config profiles. I don't think you need to change anything else. So that should be good. We'll close that. And then we're in. You won't have anything here. This is the locomotive I already initialized. And I'm going to show you with the camera how to go ahead and initialize it. But now we've got JMRI installed. It's updated. It's all good to go. Let's get started with the locomotive.
Once you get your settings and everything initialized the way they need to be, you get a locomotive on the track. Let's pretend this one's brand new. I have already programmed it to an address of 813, so that'll be one of the difference here. But we'll go new loco. It's at the top left, and then you get this window here, which shows you all the different kinds of decoders that it has. So we've got soundtracks. We can go in here and try to pick our specific one, or you can read it from the decoder by clicking read type from decoder. And you can see it's doing stuff down at the bottom left. It found a ton of different results, probably because they use basically the same decoder for all these locomotives. The Genesis 2200, the 21PNE M8. But if you scroll around, you'll find the correct one, or at least close enough. So I don't actually see P40 on here, but I'm assuming this 2208 P42 is close enough. I guess you could probably either reach out to Athearn, look in your product manual, which maybe I'll take a look at that in a sec here, or whatever to figure out exactly which decoder it is, but I'm assuming this is gonna work. So I've got that selected over here, new loco. Let's call it Amtrak 813. Long address, 813 I know is already programmed, so let's save that. Roster file, Amtrak 813, saved okay. And now we see up here, we've got Amtrak 813. You can ignore this one on the bottom. That was the original test one that I did, but I'm initializing this as a new locomotive. So that's all in there. We can either close this or open the comprehensive programmer. Let's close it and show you how to get in there from there. So we got Amtrak 813. Actually, we can pull up a throttle. So here we got a throttle. This is what will enable us to, I guess, drive or operate the locomotive. This is our track power, off and on. And now it's going to power, actually the track should be powered. And you can hear the locomotive is starting to power up. You see the lights on and everything. So now we've got our locomotive registered in the system, the track is powered up, and we're able to control it with the throttle. So I'll put it in forward. Let's go forward. Do we have a horn? Let's see. There we go, yeah. And I'm actually going to close this throttle and let's open up the programmer. So if we come up here, we can just double click it and it's going to open up this whole thing. So we've got, this is already saved to the roster. Let's see, where do I want to put this? I'll move these windows around a little bit. I like to have a throttle open. So I'm going to right click here, open up a throttle. I'll put the throttle over on the left and then I can change my programming on the right. So here it's kind of weird. The reason I closed and reopened the throttle was it wasn't showing which functions were which at first, but when I opened it up again, it did. I don't know exactly why that is, but instead of it saying F1, F2, F3, etc., it now has what the actual functions do. It might be part of closing and reinitializing it once you've saved it. But once again, we have the throttle here. We got forward. Let me turn the headlight on. There we go. Forward, reverse. Now the headlight goes out. Let me turn functions on. Let's see, is that all of them? Yeah, you can see the marker lights there, so you kind of know it's working. Those are on. Do the horn again, you'll see the lights start flashing. It's probably loud enough. I like my locomotives pretty quiet. You may have noticed that in one of my previous videos. But now we can start having fun and actually programming stuff. So let's start with sounds. Now, one of the interesting things is yellow, I think, means it's an unknown decoder value. So you can read the values, change the values, and then write the values. So let's first come down here. Basically, sorry, I'm going all over the place. You got these different tabs, all the different settings. These are called sheets. So you can read all the changes on the sheet. You can read all the sheets in general. You can read the full sheet. You can write the full sheet. You can write the changes. So for right now, on this sound tab, I'm actually going to go to sound levels. And you can see we have all these CVs, these control variables, for the different sound settings, and they're all yellow, so we don't actually know what they are. I think this is assuming what the defaults are. I'm gonna read the full sheet. So I'll click that in a second. There we go, read the full sheet. So now it's going through and it's looking at what all the values are on this locomotive. And it's gonna save it to the profile that we created. It's an XML document that's stored in this JMRI DecoderPro software that lets you kind of keep track of all your variables in your different locomotives. So ideally, it kind of builds a huge database. And now that's done. So we can see our air horn volume is at 76, the bell is 58, master volume looks like it's only at 1. Let's drag this up. So when you see what happens, we'll take that to 77. Air horn, we can bring that one up, let's call it 150. They turn orange. Let's see, do we want to do anything else? No, we'll leave that be. Prime mover's fine as it is. So now we can write the full sheet or we can write the changes on the sheet. I generally like to change as few things as possible, so I don't feel the need to rewrite any of these values. So I'm just going to write the changes. And now you can see it changed. The volume has changed a little bit. Let's test the horn. Oh. So this is an interesting point. I don't know if I mentioned earlier, I think I did, that the power supplied by the PR4 is pretty small. I'm going to write those again so it's quieter. But basically, if you have it too loud on this PR4, it'll draw too much power, and it will kind of trip out the programmer when you go to use the settings. Let's see. So now I lowered it back down. I lowered the volume back down to hopefully draw less power so I can actually keep showing you how this works. There we go. See, so you lower that, a little bit less current draw, a little less power coming out the speaker. You can come up to your throttle. You've got forward and backwards. You can move this up or down. So I'm gonna take it up just a little bit. It's kind of hard to show you. Let's see, I'm gonna take it up. The locomotive moves. Ooh, that was close. Go back forward. Move it again. So you can control it this way. You got reverse, forward, horn. So let's see. Let's go change the lights a little bit. Let's say I want those lights to flash a little bit more. And come up here to the lights tab. There it is. Lights. Focus. There we go. And now we'll come down. Let's read what we have first. So let's read the full sheet. Click. It's going to go through and verify all these. See if the brightnesses change at all. Look at that. See, they jumped up. It thought it knew what it was, but I guess it wasn't. So the crossing hold time, let's change that to 15. Let's move our brightness up to 200. I like bright lights, who doesn't? And some of this depends on how it's configured. So it looks like our ditch lights, which are on 3 and 4, are set to... we got different brightnesses on here. I guess that's phase selection, so you can see it's using crossing logic. The function 5 and 6 look like they are brightness 1 and 2, so I suspect those might be related to the marker lights. But let's write this sheet, write the changes on the sheet, and see if it looks brighter. I think it looks brighter. You know, I'm going to test this. I'm going to change brightness down and see if it makes a big difference. So I got all the brightnesses now set to about 50 or 60. I'm going to click write changes on sheet. And it definitely looks dimmer. I don't know if you can tell on the camera or not. I think you can. You can use the adjustment button. You can slide forward or back in the video if you really want to see, but I'm going to put all these up to 215. It's a nice number. 215. Dimmer, we'll leave it 150, and master brightness 215. So let's set all those. Write changes on the sheet. Click. Yeah, that's definitely brighter. And then we also, let's see, we extended that crossing hold time. So if I do the horn, these flashing lights should go a little bit longer. So the flashing lights are currently set to a flash rate of 4. Maybe that looks a little slow, so I'm going to change it to 10. Let's see what that does. Right, changes to the sheet. And let's test it again. That's even worse. So I guess the 10, an increase, isn't the flash rate, but it's the time in between. So let's try 1. Right, changes on the sheet. Blow the horn. And that's pretty quick. Let's try 2. I kind of like that. What else do we have on here? So this really is the full programming. You know, I could go into a lot more detail about decoders and programming and all that. I'm going to turn the sound down just a little bit. Let's do master volume, prime mover, 122. Let's try that. It's just a little bit loud. There we go. That's better. What did I want? Sound. There's different horns I know you can use. There's also function mapping. I'll probably do a separate video on all of this kind of stuff. This all gets pretty specific. But basically you'll have your locomotive. You can fill in the road name, road number, manufacturer. There you see your speed, throttle limits, and all of that in there. And that's pretty much it. You know, you can you save all those. You can close the programming for that locomotive. Some changes have not been written. Yeah, all right, let's save and close that. And then that's the throttle. And over time, you'll just build up more locomotives here. So this is Amtrak 813. I suspect the next time I'm in here, I'll have a bunch more stuff that I can show you that's all been clicked in there. But that's pretty much how you get it set up. So you can see this really took less than an hour. You just need the track, the PR4. Biggest thing is these wires. You know, I got connectors. You can just solder other little wires. Got to have the USB connection and install the software, and you're pretty quick to get off to the races here. If you want to get back into programming, just double click it. It opens up the whole programmer. You've got all this stuff in here, advanced settings, sound level. I mean, it's all in there. You want more reverb on the horn, that's in there. Speed control, speed tables, function maps, lights, analog controls, advanced, sound levels. There's one called CVs here, which I think is just a table of every single CV. You got 1 through, I don't even know what that is. It goes up to, what is this, 256? It's probably your secondary tables of the alternate bits and stuff. So I think that's pretty much it. I'm trying to think. You can change the horn here. So we got the K5LA1. Can we change that? Let's do, what else we got? Leslie RS3. Give that a whirl. Or you know what, before I make any changes, let's read the full sheet. It's gonna go through, see, let's just flip back to the Nathan since it knows that's what it is. It reads the rest of those. And then when it's done, the sound comes back on in the locomotive. So we got 7 FDL with HEP. I'm guessing that's correct for the P40. To be honest, I don't even know. Our throttle's still over here. So hit the horn. There goes our horn, our flash rate that we like. Let's try changing the horn. Where was it here? Here we go, K5LA. What do we want, the Leslie RS3? Yeah, let's try that. Right, the changes on the sheet. See if it works, you know? There we go. So, all that kind of stuff you can do. You know, I know the ESU decoders let you upload your own different sounds, which is very cool. I don't deny that. I like that as a feature. I would argue it's probably a better system, but these Tsunami decoders I find pretty easy to program. It can all be done on JMRI, and they're made in the US, which is good, you know, I guess. It's all personal preference, I guess. So, anyway, this is the Amtrak. You guys can go do whatever you want at this point. You know, I'm just playing with the tools on here, but you can see the marker lights on the back there, the Amtrak. Headlights, ditch lights. I don't know if the marker lights work on the back. If they do, I haven't figured out how to get them on yet. Maybe I gotta get the locomotive moving. Let's try that. So let's bring it back just a little bit. Put it in forward. No, I don't know how to turn those on. I eventually figured it out. You can see the rear marker lights are on now. They indeed are working. When I put it in reverse, you get the headlights on. And then when it's in forward, the marker lights come on. Similarly on the front, we've got forward, and then in reverse, the marker lights come on. Quick thing I found was, it was in the function mapping. Basically, they have the, 5, 6, 7, and 8, which are all mapped to different functions. I can't remember exactly what they are now, but basically, it was only being mapped in, I think, forward. Or no, it was only being mapped in reverse. But when it's in reverse, the light wouldn't be on. So even though the lighting settings were enabled to have it work in reverse, or have the rear marker lights come on in forward, the mapping wasn't set to be mapped in forward, so it wasn't actually activating that function. But as you can see now, that's all there. Obviously, I've got quite a bit to learn about this programming stuff. I'm going to play with it for quite a bit. Until I feel pretty comfortable with it. But at that point, I think I might actually start opening up sort of a DCC shop type thing where I'll program folks' locomotives for them, do DCC installs and lighting installs. I won't have a big layout probably for quite a while, but I really enjoy these kind of detailing, painting, and programming projects. So all that to say, this has been the how-to and a quick demo on JMRI, setup, installation, and all that kind of stuff. As you can see here, I got the Digitrax P4. The only other thing I had to get was track, connectors, and a locomotive, which most of the people already looking to do this will know how to do that. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments below. Preferably check the comments to see if your question already exists. If not, put it down there so folks can look and see if what they're looking for is already there. Any feedback is appreciated. And I think that about wraps it up. So thanks everyone for watching. We'll catch you next time, and have a good one.